everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Penny. I am a certified advanced esthetician or a master esthetician in Portland, Oregon. And I'm coming at you barefaced today because we're gonna do a get ready with me. I wanted to share with you some new products that I have found that I'm really enjoying, but also I wanted to swatch for you guys the new Cle De Peau. I have the Radiant Liquid Matte lipsticks. I have 3 colors, and then I have 2 colors of the Cle De Peau Radiant Shine lipsticks. Wanted to share those with you today. I wanted to demo again the Tarte Foundcealer foundation, and I also wanted to answer some frequently asked questions on my channel. I thought this would be a great way to get a few answered. I get a lot of the same questions, and as this channel grows, it's difficult to thoroughly answer all the questions in the comments. I'm trying, but I really want to be able to give you guys good information. So I thought I'm going to take 5 or 6 questions that you guys ask all the time and just answer them here. And then hopefully that will help some of you out who have the same questions. So let's get started. I am using today, I did use the Josie Maran Skin Dope. Now, this is the one that you can buy in store. This is the 50% hemp seed oil and the 50% argan oil. Now, I only used 3 little tiny drops in the palm of my hand, and then I really worked my hand together. I mean, I could feel the heat, and then I literally just pressed, okay? That was like an hour ago. I just let that really soak in. I followed up that with this Glam Glow Moisture Trip. Now, this also uses the hemp seed oil, and I'm very, very intrigued by the hemp seed oil, by CBD, that kind of stuff. I'm full in researching CBD and hemp and that kind of stuff because it actually looks incredibly promising for sensitive skin, for acne-prone skin, for redness, rosacea, eczema. I mean, I'm really intrigued by everything that I'm finding. Now, I'm going to start with my sunscreen, and that is my cocktail. This is my tinted mineral from Alastin, which is titanium and zinc oxide. And this is just from Aveeno, and it is the Positively Mineral. This one is not tinted. The reason why I'm even showing you guys this is because it's important. This first step actually does give me coverage. So I think you need to see my skin before I put any coverage on it, and then when I start, because it does give me a tiny bit of opacity prior to that foundation. So what I do every single day, I've been doing this, is I put a decent amount of the Aveeno, and then I put 2 pumps of the Alastin. Now, you don't have to use Alastin and you don't have to use Aveeno. I just really like those 2. And I like the fact this Alastin is too dark for me. With my melasma, I really feel like it kind of accentuates the darkness. I don't know. But the mineral from Aveeno is too white. So when I mix them together, that's what I get. So you see that? Then I literally take it on my hand and I go like this. And this is what I seriously do this every day. Now I have a ton left. I go like that. I know this is just, and I go down my neck. Now I've already put on some sunscreen on my body. I do that when I get out of the shower because I'm a little bit crazy about sunscreen, guys. Now I'm going to tell you that I'm going to have to pause this because what I do also do every single day is I let my sunscreen set for probably 20 minutes. So I will pause the video, let this set, possibly do my hair, and then we'll cut back and we'll move on with the routine. So you can kind of see it gives me a little bit, just a little bit of coverage. It's definitely a little dewy right now, but I do find that if I just let it set for 15 or 20 minutes, it sinks in and my skin is ready for the rest of my makeup. So I will be right back. Okay, so I am back. I curled my hair. This is actually quite typical for how I get ready. I will put on that sunscreen and then I will go ahead and brush my teeth, curl my hair, do that kind of stuff just to give that sunscreen time to set. Start with the Foundcealer from Tarte. And I talked about this in my top 2, bottom 2, and I haven't done a full review, but guys, this is such a fantastic foundation if you have dry skin. It does use a lot of silicones, but it also uses Babasu, which is incredibly hydrating, and it does use hyaluronic acid. And what I really like about it is it's an SPF 20, and it is titanium dioxide and zinc oxide, which I am all about right now. I am trying to avoid chemical sunscreens, and I'm going to do a whole video on that, but I'm really trying to stick with the physical sunscreens. I'm going to use 2 pumps. So you can see that it's a little bit thicker. And when it first goes on, it also is a little bit dewy looking. I use my Sonia Kashuk sponge, but I just put this all over my face. And then I'm going to bounce it in. This color is 27N, and it's a really, really good neutral for, honestly, this has worked for me since I bought it in April, and I do have a little bit more color now. Okay, so this is really, honestly, probably a pump and a half, because if you can see, I still have foundation left on my hand. I still have a decent amount on my hand. And you can also see, I'm sure, that it's pretty shiny. But I feel like this coverage is really, it's just really nice if you're dry skinned. I don't think that this is good for those of you with oily skin. But for those of us who are dry or extremely dry, not only is the shade selection nice, but the SPF 20 is nice, the physical sunscreen is nice, the hydration factor is nice, the price is nice. I mean, it's a great foundation, definitely. I really like the packaging. I mean, all the way around, I feel like Tarte kind of hit it out of the park with this one. Okay, so that said, I do need to let this set for probably 5 minutes, and I'm not going to make you sit through that, so I'm going to be right back. Okay, this has been setting for probably 5 minutes. I'm going to give it another couple minutes, so I thought I would answer a question or two while we wait. And the first one, I took some notes, you guys, from the comment section. I get a lot of questions about how often to microneedle, nano needle, cosmetic needle, if you do all of them. How do you do that? And my answer for that is always microneedling if you're going 0.5 millimeter or deeper, 0.5 or deeper, which is considered, you know, collagen induction therapy. That's once a month. So that is every 4 weeks. You know, you don't want to go any sooner than that. So the question is, how do I fit in everything else? I typically tell people that after you do a medical needling procedure, 0.5 or deeper millimeters, that I just usually wait at least a week. I just do. You don't have to, but I do. That's when I would go ahead and I would cosmetically roll or needle, or I would nano needle. Now, that means that I would either do 0.25 or 0.3, those superficial needles. That's the cosmetic needling. I would do that like a week later. And I would always split that between my nano by a few days. So you can do the cosmetic needling and the nano needling this in the same week. I just split them apart a few days. Technically, you can cosmetically needle or nano every single day, technically, but I think that that might be a recipe for irritation, and it also may be just too much for a lot of our skin, and I don't think it's that reasonable time-wise. I just think a lot of us are not going to do that. So for me, a reasonable expectation is once every month for medical needling. For collagen, a week later, I will, you know, do a derma roll or a 0.25 session. Maybe 3 days after that, I will nano. And then on the 1 week mark, 1 week later, I'll cosmetically needle again. And in the middle of that next week, I will nano. So that's how I make that work. And then I microneedle again at 4 weeks. So you kind of just spread them apart, but you definitely can do the cosmetic and the nano in between the medical needling, in between the collagen needling. And I just space them out a little bit, but they're fantastic. They address all different parts of your skin. So nano is addressing your very superficial epidermis, that stratum corneum. And then the cosmetic needling, the 0.25, 0.3, 0.2, those are addressing just a little bit into your epidermis for skin health. And then of course, the collagen induction, the 0.5 or a little bit deeper, that is for collagen. That's getting in a little bit farther into the dermis. So all of these different types of needling are just addressing different parts of the skin. And I think that they're all fantastic together throughout the month. And I hope that makes sense. The other question that I get all the time is about Retin-A and microneedling and how and when you can use it and do you need to stop and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, you definitely do not have to stop. I typically have people not use any kind of a retinoid the day that they microneedle. That is just my opinion. You may hear different from other professionals. That's just my opinion on the safe side of irritation. And then after a medical needling, after college induction, I wait at least 3 days before I get back on any of my retinoids. And that is just a personal preference as far as irritation goes. I definitely never use retinol, Retin-A, retinoids in any way the day that I microneedle. I just don't. And I don't recommend that anybody else does. I feel like it's a recipe for big time irritation. Now, as far as nanoing is concerned, there is actually a protocol for nanoing retinol. And I'm going to do a whole video on that one, but that can be used together. The vitamin can be very well tolerated when used with nano needling. Now, as far as cosmetic needling, which goes into the epidermis just a little bit, just very shallow, but it goes in, I typically don't use any kind of a retinoid with that either, but you can go right back to your retinoid like the next night because those are such superficial channels and they're made for product penetration. So yeah, you can work your retinoids in with your needling. I think the good rule of thumb is the deeper you needle, the longer you wait to go back on your retinoid. That's just a personal rule of thumb that I would suggest for other people for sure. Now, the last thing is I get questions about Retin-A and is it a good protocol to start like right now in July, if you lived in the United States, let's say, and it's full on summertime. So wherever you are when it is summertime, is it a good time to start Retin-A? My answer to that is always no. I always tell my clients at work, let's wait until we are, not only inundated with the sun, but also when we're not going to be out in it as much. Because typically in the summertime, wherever you are in the world when it is your summer, you usually do spend a little bit more time doing outdoor activities because it's warm and it's a great time to be outside. So no, I would not start any kind of a retinoid in the middle of the summer. However, that said, if you are somebody who is using Retin-A all year, you've been using it for 6 months, I also recommend that you don't stop in the summer. So you just continue your normal routine with your retinoid. You don't stop and then start again in the fall. Just continue. Just make sure that, as always, you're really using good sunscreen. That's the most important thing. So no to starting retinoids in the summer, but also no to stopping retinoids in the summer. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to play around a little bit with this new bronzer that I got from Sephora. It's called Golden Hour. Guys, this was $20 and it is a really pretty neutral bronzer and it's huge. This one is 0.63 ounces. I mean, it's a large bronzer for 20 bucks at Sephora, but it's also a really great shade. So this last week, I hope everybody that's in the States had a good 4th of July. We had a really fun 4th of July. My daughter's birthday is right around there. And my husband and I threw her a surprise birthday party. She had been asking, so funny, she'd been asking for a surprise party. Like that's one of the things she was asking for. And I kept saying to her, because she's 7, I kept saying to her, you're crazy. I'm not giving you a surprise party. And of course, then I thought to myself, well, why not? Why not give her a surprise party? If that would really make her day. So she had absolutely no idea, of course, and arranged for 4 of her friends to come over, and they ended up having a slumber party, and it was like an extravaganza. I mean, one of her friends literally stayed through the 4th of July and then through the 5th of July, and we had friends come up from out of town. I mean, it was just such a fantastic weekend. We had such a good time. I hope you guys all had a really great holiday as well. So yeah, that bronzer is really pretty, you guys, really pretty. I'm going to use a cream blush from Cle De Peau, and this one is in the color 4. I'll show you a little swatch. This is kind of a cool tone pink, but it has a little tiny bit of a shift to it, but it's really pretty. I haven't used a lot of cream blushes from Cle De Peau. Way I'm going to do it is I'm going to take a small Sonia Kashuk sponge, and I'm just going to dot a little bit on here. give a little bit of color. And the other side to kind of bounce that out. Just going for kind of a fresh look. Another question that I get all the time, which is amazing, is how do you get your whites of your eyes so bright? I seriously get this all the time, and it's amazing because I've talked about this stinking product so much that I thought people were probably going to get sick of it, but it is Lumify. I use these Lumify drops pretty much every day, unless I somehow forget, but I'm not going to show putting them in because I think some of you wouldn't like that, but this is how I get my eyes bright. I don't know if you can tell, but right now, they're a little bit, you know, pinky just because life, you know. So I'm going to pop these in and I'll be right back. So I am wearing this cute little dress, cute little kind of 70s vibe. It's a cheapie. It's like from Venus. It's so cheap. But when I put it on today, it made me think of this eyeshadow palette. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell. I don't know. It just was like perfect. So that is what I'm going to use. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Star Palette. And I just think it's really pretty. I'm probably going to use just the warmer tones. So probably going to use these two. Really, really great way to try some Natasha Denona. So here we go with the simplest eyeshadow look ever. I'm going to take the darker color in here on my Trish McEvoy hoof. And I'm just going to place this all over my mobile lid. Okay, so I also wanted to say thank you to some of you. You guys give me such good information. I have a subscriber who, her name is, on YouTube, is Cat. And I just wanted to say thank you. She left me a comment about where to find some of the products that I talk about in like the UK. And she talked about Cult Beauty, Space NK, and Net-a-Porter. And guys, that is such great information because a lot of times you guys will ask me where you can find stuff. And honestly, as much of a shopper as I am, it's kind of hard for me. I don't always know where you can find the good stuff in your respective countries. So if you are from anywhere other than the United States, anytime you know where you can find things that I talk about online, I would love it if you would comment that in the comment section. That it would be so helpful for everyone, myself included. It's got to be frustrating to see a YouTuber talk about things and then have no idea where to find it if you don't live in their country. So I really do appreciate her comment and comment of those of you who've done that in the past. I really appreciate that. So seriously, guys, this is the most simple eyeshadow look ever. So I do that. This is something I do all the time. I'm going to take that gold shade just with my finger like that. And I'm going to pop a tiny bit in the middle. And then I'm going to go in with a Suku blending brush, and I'm going to use what looks like a transition shade here. I know I do this backwards to a lot of what you guys do. And that's what I get. I'm actually going to take a couple of these shades and put them underneath my eye. Now, I know a lot of people, especially as we get older, don't like to use a lot under the eyes. I find for me personally that it actually can hide, you know, lack of sleep. It can kind of, I don't know, I actually think it looks nice and defining. And as long as it's done soft enough, it can look really flattering and not harsh. I'm going to pop on some Grande Drama mascara, and I'm going to also put on my MAC on the bottom lashes, and I'll be right back. Okay, mascara done. I am going to do my eyebrows, you guys, with this Suku. It is their little felt tip. This is in the color Camel, and I really like this. There are other brands that you can get in the States. This I did order from Selfridges. There are brands that you can get in the States. I think MAC makes one, Burberry makes one. Oh, geez. Glossier makes one now that are like this, and I really, really enjoy these, but I'm going to use this one today. It's super fast. I did recently tint my brows, so it kind of makes my life a lot easier. which I highly suggest doing that at home. Such an easy way to speed up everything, but just really make your face framed, even if, if you don't want to have to do your brows. I get a lot of questions about the Hyaluron Pen. That is the injection pen that kind of uses like an air pressure to, primarily it's for lips. I know it can be used on other parts of your face, but primarily for lips. It is in my scope, and I am considering taking some classes on it. I have no idea whether or not I will perform this procedure. It's one of those things where I'm kind of still trying to figure out, trying to figure it out. And I will tell you that the thing that scares me about things like this is there's going to be people who are going to perform this service that maybe aren't experienced enough with facial anatomy. And I know that the doctor that I work with, she does lip injections, and she's fantastic. And the amount of schooling that she has had, the amount of training that she has had, I mean, way beyond a 2-day class or anything like that for facial structure and for, the aesthetic part of it, setting aside the safety part of it. I do think that the Hyaluron Pen sounds quite interesting because it doesn't push that hyaluronic acid as far into the, it doesn't go too far in. So it sounds like that it actually could be safer because you avoid occluding a vessel, that kind of stuff. So that's really interesting and exciting. There are other things to consider with that because you guys have asked about this and what my thoughts are. For example, it actually really matters the weight of the molecular weight of the hyaluronic acid as far as its whether or not it's inflammatory. And I don't know how long-term inflammatory hyaluronic acid injected even superficially into the skin, how it's going to affect your body as far as aging is concerned. Is it going to cause unnecessary inflammation, which really is pro-aging? So that is some of my questions about that. Do I think it's super cool? It looks amazingly cool. I gotta admit, I am totally intrigued by it. I'm also fearful of it in the wrong hands because of the aesthetic nature of it. And do these people also have access to Hylenex hyaluronidase so that they could, dissolve it if you don't like the look of it, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of questions that I have. So I want you to know I am investigating this Hyaluron Pen big time, not only to tell you about it, but for myself. There's a good chance that I'm going to travel, probably to Texas. So if any of you are in Texas, I might be in Texas in the next couple months, and take a class on it, get the pen, and really investigate it further. And then I will be able to give you full thoughts. But right now I'm definitely intrigued by it. I will say I am definitely intrigued. So that is the eyebrows with that Suku pen. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about are these new Cle De Peau Lippies. They are a new launch from Cle De Peau. They already had a line from the Radiant lipsticks in the same kind of packaging, and they've just reformulated a little bit. So I have 2 of the shines and 3 of the mattes. I'm not normally a matte lip person, but these are really fantastic. They don't dry out your lips. They feel like velvet on. I'm going to use a Suku lip pencil. This is in the color beige. I'm going to go with a nude lip today, and I really like this pencil because it goes on and it's kind of like a gel almost. You could use it definitely on your whole entire lip. These are beautiful. Hopefully you can see. I like this lip liner a lot, you guys, because I don't feel like it gives a harsh line. Sometimes when I put on lip liner and it's a harsh line, I can't stand the look. I feel like it's too made up looking. I kind of like the look of lipsticks and lip glosses without a harsh line. This one's really great with lip glosses. I'm going to first use the number 101, which is Cream Crush. This is in the matte formula. So that's Cream Crush. That is the matte formula. Just like velvet. So that is the color 101 Cream Crush from the new Cle De Peau collection. And I think it's so pretty. And it's a matte, but It's very bouncy. I will tell you, these do transfer. These are not the kind that dry down and then they go nowhere. You have to reapply, but they do last longer, obviously, than like a gloss. The other two that I did get in this formula, I got number 102. That is called Touch of Blossom, and I will show you guys. This one's more of a cool, kind of mid-tone pink. It's right here. On the lips, it's not quite as bright looking. It's a beautiful spring summer shade, especially if you have a tan. And then the last one that I got in those matte colors is the color 103, and that is Nectar. This one is kind of a punchy coral. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it, but I love this color. I think that this color is just gorgeous in the summertime with a tan, bronze eyes. It's just really, really pretty. And the formula is just so nice. The two shine shades that I got, number one is Sepia. Guys, this is probably my favorite color that Cle De Peau has ever done in these little Radiant guys. It is a true nude. It's got just enough pink and peach in it to look just beautifully nude on the lips. And then the last color that I did get is 2 Sugar Jelly. Now this one is a little bit more pink. This is going to be for a lot of you pink lovers. It is a light, little bit bright pink right here. So pretty, so shiny, and so gorgeous. So that is the new colors from Cle De Peau. Okay, I'm going to quickly zhuzh my hair and I'll be right back. Okay guys, that is the completed look. I feel like it's very summertime. I'm loving these lips from Cle De Peau. That is seriously one of my favorite things that I have found. This foundation from Tarte is just no powder over it. It's just very dewy and luminous, but it just looks like skin. And if you are a dry skin person, seriously, this is definitely worth at least getting a sample. It's such a great foundation. I wanted to ask you guys if you like or would like to have more Get Ready With Me's like once a week where I can answer some of your questions from the comment section. I love interacting with you guys in the comments. It just gets, some of these questions are so in depth that a little comment or a little answer just doesn't suffice. So I feel like we have to have a little bit more of a discussion. So I kind of like this idea of being able to answer your questions. Would you rather it not be in a Get Ready With Me format and I just basically take maybe 10 of your questions and do a video answering questions once a week? There's literally enough questions for me to do that every single week. So I could do that too. It doesn't have to be with a Get Ready With Me, but I just want your input on that. I definitely want some input on the CBD oils. I would love to hear some of your thoughts, some of your suggestions, recommendations, that kind of stuff in the comment section on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you again very, very soon.